Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Maisy Mok. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. A French local official and his family had to run for safety after protesters rammed a car into their house and set it alight. Chief Secretary Eric Chan claims that many people who left Hong Kong are now coming back. And a woman remains in serious condition in an attack triggered by emotional dispute. More than 700 people were arrested across France on the fifth night of violent protests triggered by the fatal shooting of a teenager by police. The unrest has triggered a wave of cancellations, including President Emmanuel Macron's visit to Germany. Janice Low reports.
It was another long night for tens of thousands of police officers on the streets of France. Authorities struggled to contain violent protests, which began days ago after a teenage boy was shot dead during a traffic stop. But the nationwide unrest seemed to be finally losing momentum as it continued for the fifth consecutive evening. More than 700 people were arrested overnight, a sharp drop from the 1,300 or so arrests made the previous day. Dozens of police and paramilitary officers were wounded. Things even got heated at times in Marseille, where officers deployed tear gas to disperse protesters. Some rioters even looted stores, including a gun shop in France's second-largest city. Over in the southern Parisian suburb of Les-Hauts, Mayor Vincent Jeanbrun said that protesters rammed into his house with a car before setting the vehicle and the building on fire. He described the incident as an assassination attempt. His wife and one of their two children, aged 5 and 7, were injured as they fled the building before dawn. But the mood was somber at Nanterre as hundreds gathered near a mosque for the funeral of Nahel M., the 17-year-old who was gunned down by police last week. The deteriorating situation prompted President Emmanuel Macron to cancel a state visit to Germany. But it was not just diplomacy that the protests have disrupted. Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne has also called off major events in France, including 2 concerts held by singer Mylène Farmer at the Stade de France. Fashion label Celine also scrapped a menswear show at the capital tonight. Its designer said that the cancellation was a great disappointment, but emphasized that the participants' safety came first. And with the Tour de France now underway, it remains unknown whether the nationwide chaos would jeopardize the prestigious cycling race. The organizers said they are ready to adapt to any situation. Janice Low, HKIBC.
Back locally, Chief Secretary Eric Chan claimed that quite a number of Hong Kong residents who emigrated overseas have since returned, but stopped short of providing proof. Chief Executive John Lee also blamed the manpower crunch for hurting the city's competitiveness. Once the most competitive region in the world, Hong Kong dropped 2 places to 7th in an annual survey by the International Institute for Management Development. Apart from rival Singapore, which came in 4th, the SAR also trailed Taiwan by 1 place in the latest report. The government blamed COVID for battering the economy, and the chief executive said the manpower shortage is hurting the city's post-epidemic recovery. On radio this morning, John Lee noted Hong Kong's workforce shrank by 200,000 in recent years. Half of those people were professionals or middle-class workers, he added, so there is a desperate need to attract talent overseas. Lee was confident the goal to attract 35,000 overseas professionals per year will be met, as 49,000 work visa applications have been approved in just 5 months. While the SAR leader did not address the cause of the exodus, his right-hand man admitted many had emigrated overseas. Chief Secretary Eric Chen confirmed around 140,000 people left in the past 2 years. He believed that quite a number of them have since returned to the city, but did not provide evidence to back up that claim. People will naturally be drawn to Hong Kong when its economy and other aspects are doing well, Chen proclaimed. Financial Secretary Paul Chan also came to the defense of the sluggish economy, suggesting the recession last year was simply a blip. He pointed to the city's gross domestic product, which has exceeded $2.8 trillion, double the amount from 1997. And with an average annual growth of 2.8%, the SAR fared better than the 1.9% achieved by other advanced economies. He urged everyone to seize on the opportunities brought by China's opening up of its economy. Together with supportive policies from the central government, Chan believed that Hong Kong will only take off again.
There was a lucky escape for pedestrians in a busy area in Bangkok after slabs of concrete fell from above this afternoon. A 57-year-old driver sustained minor injuries after the blocks of concrete landed on top of his truck near the junction of Mongkok Road and Fa Yun Street. The rubble scattered across multiple traffic lanes of the pedestrian crossing. An initial investigation suggested the concrete blocks fell from the 15th floor of a nearby tenement building. 2 men believed to be the flat's owner and the head of the building's owners incorporation have been arrested. A 38-year-old woman remains in serious condition in hospital after a man entered her flat in Mongkok last night and began attacking her and her husband. Police suggested the violence stemmed from an emotional dispute. Chloe Wong reports.
Police arrested a 47-year-old man at the scene after he allegedly attacked a couple with sharp tools. Officers were called to Reclamation Street in Mongkok at around 9 p.m. last night after the man broke into the couple's flat at a tenement building. A fight soon broke out and the man started attacking the couple with sharp objects. A pair of scissors and a knife were found at the scene. The couple suffered injuries on their back, neck, shoulders and hands. They were rushed to Kong Wah Hospital. The 38-year-old woman remained in serious condition, while her 37-year-old husband was stable. In a late-night briefing, Chief Inspector Chan Man-ho from the Mongkok District Crime Division described the attack as a one-off violence case. He insisted it had nothing to do with the city's handover anniversary. Police suggested the attack may have been fueled by emotional entanglement. Chan added officers were able to arrive at the scene quickly, as they had been conducting high-profile patrols in the area. This, he claimed, prevented the violence from getting worse. The suspect also sustained minor injuries and remained detained. Chloe Wong, HKIBC.
A taxi driver has been arrested in relation to a fatal traffic accident in Kowloon Bay on Friday night. The 72-year-old cabbie was arrested yesterday on suspicion of dangerous driving causing death, as well as leaving the scene after an accident. He allegedly knocked down a 65-year-old woman who had occupied a traffic lane while pushing a trolley full of cardboard paper along Wai Yip Street. The elderly woman was then run over by a double-decker bus and was pronounced dead at hospital soon after. Police initially arrested the 26-year-old bus driver, but subsequent evidence suggested the woman was hit by another vehicle first. Overseas again, the U.S. spy agency has called on Russians who disagree with the invasion of Ukraine to work for them. CIA Director William Burns added the actions of former mercenary leader Evgeny Prigozhin will reverberate for some time.
It is striking that Prigozhin preceded his actions with a scathing indictment of the Kremlin's mendacious rationale for the invasion of Ukraine, and of the Russian military leadership's conduct of the war. The impact of those words and those actions will play out for some time, a vivid reminder of the corrosive effect of Putin's war on his own society and his own regime. Disaffection with the war will continue to gnaw away at the Russian leadership beneath the steady diet of state propaganda and practiced repression. That disaffection creates a once-in-a-generation opportunity for us at CIA, at our core, a human intelligence service. We're not letting it go to waste. We recently used social media, our first video post to Telegram, in fact, to let brave Russians know how to contact us safely on the dark web. We had 2.5 million views in the first week, and we're very much open for business.
Thousands of Twitter users reported problems when using the social media platform after its owner Elon Musk limited the number of posts that people can view per day. The billionaire owner claimed the move was to counter extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation. He announced that users of unverified accounts can view a maximum of 1,000 posts per day, while paid and verified accounts can view 10,000 posts. Since taking over Twitter, Musk has set out on a mission to prevent companies from mining potential valuable data from the platform using artificial intelligence. On to the weather now. It will be mainly cloudy with a few showers and squally thunderstorms tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 26 and 30 degrees. Sunny intervals will return midweek. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Sunday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Maisy Mok. Thanks for watching. Good night.